But now, a turn to something everybody loves, bacon.
Yes.
Bacon! Bacon! Where's the bacon? I smell bacon! 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 Gotta be bacon! Only one thing smells like bacon! That's bacon! It's bacon!
Yes, bacon may be the battle cry for the GOP in 2016, all because of a schoolyard standoff that is building between Governor Chris Christie and Senator Rand Paul. First, there was this last week at the Aspen Institute.
This strain of libertarianism that's going through both parties right now and making big headlines, I think is a very dangerous thought. I love all these esoteric debates that people are getting in.
Senator Rand Paul, for example?
Well, listen, you can name any number of people who've engaged in it, and he's one of them. I mean, these esoteric, intellectual debates, I want them to come to New Jersey and sit across from the widows and the orphans and have that conversation.
Now, Governor Christie said he wasn't speaking specifically about Paul, and had his name not been injected by a question, he wouldn't even have been mentioned at all. But I suppose once the bell was rung, both parties do feel the need to meet in the center of the ring.
The people who want to criticize me and call names, they're precisely the same people who are unwilling to cut the spending, and they're gimme, 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 gimme all my Sandy money now.
If Senator Paul wants to start looking at where he's going to cut spending to afford defense, maybe he should start looking at cutting the pork barrel spending that he brings home to Kentucky. But I doubt he would. Because most Washington politicians only care about bringing home the bacon so that they can get reelected.
So you're going to take his advice, Senator?
This is the king of bacon talking about bacon.
Wow, that escalated quickly. That is, in politics, that's pronounced boom goes the dynamite, and you have a big clash there. I see two big things here.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yeah.
I was confused.
Yeah. Number one, what we see is that Senator Rand Paul is in the center-right mainstream of the Republican Party. He's someone that Chris Christie has to reckon with, even though Governor Chris Christie has some of the highest favorability ratings of any Republican in the country. He doesn't need to be down in the farmhouse mud talking about the bacon, wrestling with the pig. He doesn't need this, except for the fact that he has realized and decided that Rand Paul is formidable, unlike his father, Ron Paul, who was always sort of pushed to the side and dismissed by Republicans. So that's interesting, especially if you take a close look at what Rand Paul stands for. Number two, I love Chris Christie making a traditionally liberal observation that is precisely these southern and conservative and, yes, red states that get the most money from the federal government. He mentioned the record there in Kentucky, and it's not just that. In New Mexico, in West Virginia, in Alabama, Alaska, Montana, these are all red states, some of the top states that get the most money back from the federal government. Bottom line, meaning we, the rest of us, often in big states like New York and California, are subsidizing them.
Absolutely.
And progressives have said that's okay, because that's what a social safety net is for. And if people are hurting down there and they need help to buy food or they need some unemployment insurance from the federal government, God bless. There is a bitter irony to someone like Rand Paul attacking a state that has the opposite condition, that is not, like him, taking these handouts.
Absolutely. Look, as Crystal well knows, the only thing that I like more than bacon is a good GOP civil war. I mean, those are always fun.
But top interests, bacon and GOP civil war.
Right, I know, right? But there is there is a real something to this fight. They're talking about the size of government. The GOP, since the end of 2012, have been trying to figure out who are we going to be going forward. And we have now Christie, who is basically a compassionate conservative in this way, and that he believes that government can help people, right? Versus Rand Paul, who wants to be to shrink government down, to make it very small, be very isolationist. And it's interesting too, because they're also looking forward to this government shutdown, which side they're going to be on with that, which ultimately gets to what you think of the electorate in 2016. Are we in a turnout electorate era, where you have to turn out as many of your base, or are we that old model of like, well, the middle will decide? The edges, the fringes, will love this idea of a government shutdown. They'll think, well, the Republicans did the right thing in Washington. The middle will hate that. So if you think that it's a turnout election and you can win by pulling out the fringes, then absolutely shut the government down. Rand Paul, I'm sure Chris Christie would be like, that's not the way to win this election.
We're loving this. The media is absolutely loving this. They are loving this. And as much as I love talking about bacon, no pun intended, I do think it was below the belt. I think that was taking it a bit too far on Rand Paul's part. But look, these are two big brands. So I think you make a great point. And this legitimizes Rand Paul, who, you know, I don't think Chris Christie had anything to necessarily gain by fighting this guy.
He might be punching down.
Might be, yeah. Well, he definitely is punching down. But you have Rand Paul, who I think represents this base that is frankly very popular right now, and it's not being occupied. It's this group of people that are very much anti-government. They want us out of wars abroad, and millennials specifically love this. And for people that just don't want government in our lives anymore. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm more with Chris Christie on this. I do feel like there are a number of Republicans that believe there is a very reasonable role for government. And Chris Christie makes a great argument for that, talking about his state in New Jersey. But for the same reason that you love this GOP infighting, is the same reason I and many other Republicans hate this, because it's very concerning. I feel like if this fight continues, and I believe that it will, because neither of these guys are probably going to back down, it further divides the party. I think could be very scary going into 2014 and 2016.
Well, and I think you make the appropriate distinction between the two. Chris Christie actually believes in governance, in getting things done, and Rand Paul fundamentally does not. You know, moving out from the specific Rand Paul, Chris Christie battle of words that's going on right now, I got to tell you, I look at Chris Christie. Here's a guy in New Jersey who vetoed early voting, laid off 10,000 teachers and educational professionals, basically balanced his budgets and brags about it on the backs of the poor by reducing the earned income tax credit. In my head, I know I should not like this guy at all, and I got to tell you, I like him. My heart likes this guy. And the personality, he is such a skilled, gifted politician. I think Democrats should be very concerned about him in 2016, because if someone like me is going, I can't help myself, he is a compelling figure. People have said he's too moderate to win in the GOP primary.
But that's the problem, is the primary.
But you know what? Mitt Romney won in the GOP primary in the most divided, extreme primary we've seen, and he is a far less skilled politician than Chris Christie, and he had to overcome his health care bill, which was exactly like Obama's. If he can do it, Chris Christie sure as heck can.
But the mistake of nominating Mitt Romney, they understand we can't do that again.
Chris Christie is not anything like Mitt Romney.
Well, and yeah, I think it's an interesting point, because he also used that great attack of saying this is about you being esoteric, you're an egghead. He's very good at pivoting away from we were talking about surveillance. Oh no, we're talking about how other people are